Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ops Unboxed. And today I'm here with the wonderful Karen Somal from Athena CRM. How are we, Karen?
I'm good, thank you, Si. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
I'm
good.
looking forward to this. If anyone has not met Karen or heard of Karen, her episode of In the Ops Seat is also out the same time as this. So head on over to have a listen to that. It is a wicked story about starting in reg tech all the way through to what we do today and some of the turns in between. But today on this episode of Ops Unboxed, we're going to be getting our eyes on something that I like to describe as one of the best kept secrets in the CRM world for the recruitment sector. It's not spoken about enough. I find myself constantly saying, "Hey, what about Athena? What about Athena?" So I'm hoping that this is going to be a good opportunity for folks that are tuned into my channel to have a look. So I will pass over to you, Karen, to
Thank you, Si.
share the screen.
Yep. Oh, I'll just get.
There we go. You're here now, and you're up.
Perfect. Okay, so the main purpose of Athena was that I was fed up of the one size fits all, not being customizable. We all understand that directors, recruiters, they all look at different things in a different way. So I wanted to be the first that kind of built the most customizable platform in the market. So on the first page, as you can see, we have dashboards. Every single user can completely customize their dashboards and filter and change the sort ordering as to what's important to them. And this is actually user-based, not just by business. So that's completely customizable. We also have the ability to change all of your views and make these customizable. So whatever you want to be able to see here, you can change those every time you log out. That will be the defaulted view per consultant as well. As well as that, when we come to jobs, we all understand that not every workflow is the same. So not every workflow that you go through in any job, whether it's perm, contract, client specific, we have the ability to build out as many pipelines, completely customize those with statuses and sub statuses as well as your actions. So everything you see on your pipeline is built for you around your business.
Nice. That's a big one at the moment, I have to say, because on my travels, adoption and change is difficult as it is. And when you go into agencies, they always have nuanced language internally,
Yeah.
and trying to get people to understand field mappings or getting people to use things and understand where to go is difficult. So the fact that you can relabel completely to the agency's language, that's ace.
Yep, that includes everything. So we don't have limitations on any sort of custom field. So if somebody wanted to build out their candidates' profiles and they needed an extra tab or sections or wherever it is, again, completely customizable, drag and drop. So very, very easy to set up and no limitations on any fields as well. All
Nice.
fields are also available via the API as well. So we don't limit anything externally as well.
Everything's available. Sorry, did you say all the fields
Yes.
over API?
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
So they are completely created by you. So if you wanted to create a custom field, I don't know, like recently we worked with a modeling agency, so eye color. So then that's your field name for the API, and then you can choose what type of field it is as well.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is kind of like high level of the customization. One feature that I think you liked was the sticky pin notes.
Yeah.
So for navigation and ease, so we'll bring up this very amazing candidate record here. So most consultants, obviously, when you log into the system, you don't work one job, you're not working one candidate. So it's always either 50 screens open or flicking through, closing down, then opening. So we have the ability to kind of pin anything here. So if I had like 4 candidates records open here, I can then flick between them however I wanted, as well as go back to the job if I needed to as well. That also applies to notes. So if I was to create a general note, I could either select a template or say, he loves here's twins and football.
Mhm.
So you can create a note and pin that, and that will always remain at the top. So when you're having conversations, so say, for example, we integrate with device, telephony, if there's a really good like candidate screening call that somebody's had, you can pin that at the top and that will always remain at the top there.
Yeah, nice. Do you know, I actually love the idea of I do love the pinning feature because twofold really. On the pinning records on the left hand side, it's so painful. Even in my own CRM that I use, having to go between things, it kind
Yeah.
of forces you to work in a way that's linear, and nothing is linear about sales or
No.
recruitment. So, and then the pin note bit. Do you know where I see that being super useful is pinning the most recent qualification call note. Do you know how frustrating it is sometimes having to scroll to
All the way
find
through.
when was the last time someone had an actual meaningful conversation with this candidate because you want to find out information about them or
Yep.
read the note. So yeah, super useful.
Actually, on that side, I forgot to mention, we actually allow you to search all notes and emails in our global search as well. So if I was to type, for example, twins, it will then, it's brought you up here.
Nice.
So it's brought that note up to say, there you go. So you can actually search within notes as well.
And emails, did you say?
And emails as well, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So actually, if you were at the moment, I'm going through a CRM migration, and they're on the CRM that the agency used 3 systems ago. They used to have an email note added for some reason when people were moved or submitted,
Oh,
and so we
yes.
found a load of these like in the migration, and we're like, right, how can we find more of them? How can we surface all of them? But unfortunately, the CRM that they're moving from doesn't allow us to pull that up. And can you build that search with a bit more detail than rather just in that global search?
Yeah, so we have the ability to like filter here. So we've got the natural language searching, or if you wanted to filter by, date added, any of the fields that you actually create that are custom. So you can see we just created eye color, that's brought up into our search as well. So although you're creating custom fields, they don't just sit there to contain data, they can be searchable upon as well. So you can break down your search and search whatever you need to draw that down.
Nice.
Yeah. The other features which we have that I know that people are really, really shouting about at the moment is the AI functionality of the platform. So we have things like being able to build summarizations for profiles. So people normally want to put those into resumes when they're sending CVs to utilize that AI profile summarization. We also have our Athena Insights, which is quite powerful. Um, this is basically, if you think about it, it is like a chat GPT that just sits on your database, or even powerful. So imagine you had your own AI assistant that is just looking across everything in your database that you can ask it any questions. So I could basically start my question here. I've just had this candidate come in. He's great. He's applied for a role. However, he wasn't suitable for that role. So I might say, are there any suitable roles for Saeed? And it's going to then search across the whole entire database. There's none here, but it's giving you a score as
Yeah.
to why. So this is your closest match because of your ops leadership background, etc. But I can then go one step further and say, okay, there maybe are no jobs that are suitable for him at the moment, but are there any um, companies that would hire someone like him that he would be suitable for, that I can spec him out to? So now it's going to look at all the company profiles. One I haven't put that. I wanted to look at any that I haven't had a job against, but it's looking at everybody within the database, like companies that hire for those types of roles or someone of your profile. And then I can say, what about lead companies?
Ones that you're not doing business with already.
Yep,
Got it.
never had a role with, a job role with. So it then brings it up like more detailed search where I can spec you out to somebody that actually you've never ever had a job with. that could potentially be a good fit for you.
And do they have to live on this? Do these are records on the system already? So
Correct. They're records from the system. We have the ability to bring records in from LinkedIn.
Mhm,
So we've got the tool, the Google Chrome extension that can
mhm.
bring records in. But yeah, it's looking at records that are within the system that are potentially, a recruiter has brought in for that purpose of being able to do spec in.
Mhm. On that AI, sorry, the Athena Insights
Yep.
chat feature, um, how if it can look across everything,
hmm
can I start using it to do some like market analysis stuff or talent pool analysis stuff? So sometimes what will happen is you'll be on the phone to a client and they'll say, yeah, do you know what? We've actually got some Q2 hiring. We need loads of people with supply chain experience, but they have to know like this specific certification or module in a
Yep.
system. So whilst on the phone, I could be typing into Athena and
Yep.
saying, hey, how many of these folks do we have? Are they available? So on and so forth. So I can actually speak live to my client with that insight.
Yep. So are available that have at least 5 years recruitment experience. Hopefully I've got some. And this will search across, again, conversations, notes, their actual profiles, resumes as well. So it's looking at those and understanding that. There we go. So I can, while I'm on the call to my client, I can already get that information out.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, that's really powerful. I think sometimes it's the small things that help when you're on in conversations with candidates and clients, right? When you're able
hmm
to provide all this valuable insights. And one more question on the Athena Insight stuff.
Yep.
Um, that's looking across every record, note, communication, convo across the
hmm
entire database, not just mine as the logged in user, but all of the conversations from everyone or mine.
Yep. Well, it's looking across everyone's. However, again, with the customizations, what I told you, we allow every agency to set their own roles and permissioning. So, what that means is we had a client recently come to us and say, we've got two resources in the business. All they're doing is bringing in candidate records. We don't want them to be able to see jobs, contacts, companies, anything else within the system. So, you can come in here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Candidate only. You can create your own roles and then set all the permissionings for those users, that user role type as well, and then assign them out to the relevant people. So if you wanted things hidden from specific people, you would do that. And if you attempted, so if this user role attempted to ask a question about a client, a company, a contact, then it won't bring anything back.
Okay, nice. That is that is very interesting because what I've noticed over the last couple of years is a rise in external researchers. So there's a lot of like search firms that are using external researchers, and one of the biggest headaches is like, of course, if you know them and trust them and you've worked with them for a very very long time, then you just operate on trust. But if you want to
Yeah,
expand that team, it's so hard to
yeah.
have your CRM facilitate that. Um,
Or they've got two CRMs running co-side.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
in the example I've had recently. It was each researcher had their own master spreadsheet, and
Oh
it
God.
was spreadsheets. We know when we say that word, it's a bad one. Yeah, nice permissions. Love that. So you configure your role type slash personas. So again,
Exactly.
if your agency is 360, key account, 180, delivery, 270, whatever it might be, we can facilitate that through the personas. You can even label the personas, the role
Whatever you want.
titles and levels that you've got internally. So
Yeah.
it's even more simple for your administrator.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is customizable, labeled to what you want to call it within a business. So, yeah.
Mhm. Nice.
Again, with the AI features, so we have like the recommended jobs, which come against the candidates' records, but we also have like the roofer role, for example, the AI matching. So we're looking across all the candidates within the system and then setting out a percentage match of what, whether this person's relevant to this role. Again, they lowered the score because the candidate is located in Chelmsford, so it's about 30 miles from Rockford. which differs, but the candidate has indicated that they're willing to relocate and has actually said in conversation that they're authorised to work in the UK. So we can use the AI to do that. And then we can also change the weighting as well. So you have a company standard weighting as to what you do, but per role, if there isn't a location, you can obviously change that, recalculate all your matches, and that will do that for you as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Long gone are the days where the candidate whose CV said SAP the most was the top ranked in your CRM, right? That's how it used to work. So yeah,
100%.
great.
We also display those counts on the actual Kanban as well. So if you wanted to have a look quickly, so you don't have to keep clicking between screens, it's all available there as well.
Nice.
Cool. Anything else on the
AI stuff.
Yep.
So we've got AI searching, matching. We've got
Natural language
um,
searching. Yep.
natural language searching, and then I think you said there's the brief, the exec summary writer, which again is just such a almost table stakes nowadays, isn't it, to be able to do that internally? But we shouldn't forget how far we've come as a
Yep.
recruitment sector. What of all of those things, or was there anything else in the AI stuff that you think's gone down so well with agencies that you were surprised by?
The AI insights, like we've had a lot of people come back and say to us, we don't feel that we need reporting no more. I can have a look at, who has been my top performing recruiter, etc.
Mhm.
And then based on placements, and obviously when you put in their billing percentages, you can actually see who's doing well. So they've actually said, you know what, we don't need the reporting facilities as much. And I'm like, oh great, we spent ages building it, but that's fine. So
Yeah.
um,
But
yeah,
that's a really interesting one, though, isn't it? Because actually, I hadn't even thought about interrogating it from a reporting and performance data perspective. But I'm with an agency at the moment whose monthly one-to-one process is it's a bit painful. I think is
hmm,
a fair statement to say. There's a lot of prep that has to be done by the recruiter, by the manager, by the ops team. They're all pulling stuff left, right, and center. Actually, you would just all you need is the data that's in your database and sit down and go,
exactly.
right, how much of this have you done? How many people have we sent here? And you could run the one-to-one with just Athena Insights
Yep.
open, really. You need somewhere to log it, but it could surface all the important numbers for sure. Because then I guess you could click through to records as well from there.
Yep. So you can click through to records. So if there are any records, so say for example up here, so I can
Mhm.
open up this candidate's record if I needed to as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but on top of that as well, so if it is the one-to-ones, again with the users and the user roles and management, we have the ability to have a look at how often your consultants are logging in, when they last logged in, their IP address, and actually go one step further and look at their full audit log as well. So we can come in here and see exactly what a consultant has done, whether it's candidate related job, anything within the system, within timeframes, even deletion of records. This is a big one we always get. How do we know who's been deleting stuff? So we can then click on this and see actually who's been deleting what records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
So that's the audit log. And then the other kind of key features, which is good, a lot of people like the fact that you can schedule meetings. We have the ability within Athena CRM, because normally a lot of agencies will work a job, but you also get a lot of agencies now that work the candidate. So we have the ability to submit candidates, have that completely all like logged. So if I was to then spec you out or submit you to specific contacts, we can do that. And we track that against records, as well as scheduling interviews without it being associated to the job. So we're actually working the candidate as opposed to just the job as
Oh,
well. So
nice.
you got either or in there. Scheduling also syncs with your mailbox. So if you want to put yourself in that invite as tentative, then that also shows in your inbox, so you actually know when meetings and stuff are happening.
Mhm.
Another thing that larger organizations love is the fact that we have the notification center. So each consultant can choose how they receive notifications within the platform. So whether you've been mentioned or replied, you can actually choose the option to receive an email as well as an in-app notification. So you can set these. So again, it's older CRM systems will have loads of applicants applying for jobs that they've submitted, and then you have to trail through them, refresh, check it. We have the ability, as an example, to notify you as a consultant within the notification center that somebody's applied for the role, to go and review it, etc. So that's there. And you can also tag in colleagues. So I was mentioning this note. If I open that note, I can then update that note or respond to that note in. So I can then go at user
Comments on
Karen.
notes.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
And they will get notified on those as well. Well, by email or within the app, depending on how they've chosen to do that.
Just so that's a comment on the notification or comment on the note again on someone.
The note.
The note. So that's wicked. I mean, we were just talking back in the last week, with James Osborne, and I was speaking about it with Kate and Luke on WhatsApp. It was so nice to see grad hiring back up again. Like, people are hiring again.
Yes,
like, it's great to see. And then I was like, oh, we're going to come back around to that age-old thing of how do we onboard people? How do we get them productive quickly? And actually, I love that commenting on note section. Like, if you were a manager or a team lead and you got your own job to do, you could just come in, get Athena Insights to be like, right, show me all the notes that a user has done, or show me all the records. How many people has such and such spoken to? Go through, click them, look at the notes, and you could comment back in real time just on these notes as they're coming through, right?
100%. Yep, you can absolutely do that, and you can tag in people. So again, this really helps with placements. Not many people have notes against placements, but if a placement hasn't been approved, or the consultants forgot, the candidate's limited company information, as an example. So you can actually tag the consultant and say, I'm not approving this until you've done that. They've been notified, at least you know. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like it.
Perfect. And then last but not least, unless you've got any other questions, we have our automation tool.
Yeah,
So again, we don't automate anything within the system. We give full control. Again, when we talk about and demoing the system, it's usually very, very difficult because people work different industries, different employment types. So we actually customize and build the whole entire system based upon what that agency's process is. And that's when you get a real understanding, okay, this is what that means. Like you said, onboarding, we've got people that are in education and they need a compliance tab that has DBS checks and right to works and stuff like that. Then on top of that, we allow them to build their own automation. So if there is a DBS license that's going to expire 2 days before, based on that end date, build me a task for the owning consultant to go and then contact that candidate, or externally go and speak to that candidate and send them this templated email if you need to as well. I mean, you probably know automation has so many different, there's so many different ways in which you can utilize automation, whether that be data cleansing or, taking away the admin tasks. If a contractor, for example, my biggest one is a contractor has been placed in a role, the end date is this day. If it doesn't have a change request or an extension against them, then make their status become available. We're trying to bring back the world of statuses. That's my aim.
Yeah.
Meaningful statuses.
underrated statuses. Honestly, they really, really are. I'm doing some status remapping at the moment, and actually, it's interesting. You go around the sales floor and you go, "Hey, what does this status mean to you?" And then you ask someone that sits 1 meter behind them, and it means something completely different. So I'm down for statuses, but I'm more down for everyone knowing the exact what they will mean, kind of thing. But
yeah,
automation is big, right? It's been around for so long. I think the problem everyone always had before was you almost had to use Zapier or Zapier, or you had to buy a third-party product and bolt it on. So it's nice to see one that's natively built in, and like you say, lots of use cases for automation, right? So admin time saver, stuff that helps front office sales effort, stuff that helps that's commercial, like what you were just saying about make the candidate available if there isn't a change request or extension.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say add a task to the contract, to the cat, to the consultant, to call, ask about the extension, call the manager. Are you extending them? No. Where are we going to spec them out to? All this sort of stuff. That's like commercial stuff that you can. I love the idea of automation putting work in front of recruiters. So you come in on a day and you're like, oh, look at that. I've got this many people to call. Like, you don't even have to think. You can come in and
No,
just do the job.
you got your call list there. Yeah.
Some limitations I find with automations can be like how much you can do, because I think the art of the doable and possible, everyone goes mad for it.
Yeah.
So is this across any specific records or
All entities, so we can do it across all entities as well. Again, we do actually have a new release of this coming out very soon. So the UI, it's just a UI refresh to make it a little bit more user friendly. But we have the ability to use all endpoints. So again, like I showed you with the search, being able to use custom fields, displaying that in the search, we believe the same should be with automation. If you're creating a field, it's there for a reason and it needs to be utilized. So we're being able to pull those endpoints in as well.
So I could have an automation, if we use the examples we've had so far today. I could have an automation if candidate's eye color is brown,
Red, add them to this
brown.
hot list, for example.
Yeah, add them to a hot list, create a task straight away, or send them to this. Okay, wonderful. That is that's huge, if I'm honest, because actually all of a sudden then what you're saying is it doesn't matter what your workflow is. It doesn't matter what you call things. You can use Athena truly as a platform play and build the language, the stages, and then all of the associated automations that you need within your workflow at the same time.
Yeah,
nice.
100%. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be not selling a typical CRM ATS product. I wanted to sell a solution that enables recruiters, whether you're one or whether you're like 50,000 recruiters, you could build it based upon what your business does. So yeah, that was my aim.
Nice.
Thanks.
Cool. Did you want to show us anything else?
I think I'll leave it in everybody's hands. So if they would like a demo, then they can drill in a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, nice. What's your favorite part of it? What's your favorite part of the product? Everyone's always got a favorite thing that they enjoy and like.
I've started to use it for my own internal CRM. So I wanted to prove the concept that it would work in different industries, and I was messing around with it. So we got it to work for estate agencies. So I love the configuration of it, and I absolutely love the Athena Insights because, I mean, I've got a memory of a goldfish. I will forget who I've spoken to. So having that there, all communications, having device integrated, conversations, WhatsApps, SMSs, all in one place, my emails, who I've done a demo with, feedback, being able to ask Athena Insights, because, the last thing you want to do is see someone that's put out a message, which I have done, by the way. Oh, we're looking for a CRM, and then I look at it and be like, oh, we've already spoken. Sorry.
Yeah, I hear.
So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's such a mega platform. It's so great because it's feels so new. Like always, I think software and systems were always a bit of a retrofit, and you would always have to change process. I think change was more difficult before with the old style CRMs. Now I find much more with the newer ones that have been coming out that there's less of that change and adoption curve for customization. But I still don't think I've seen one that's as customizable and configurable as Athena. So smashed it, Kaz. I think that's really good. Yeah. So anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching, if you've seen that and you want to know more about the person behind the product, Karen's already recorded and it's out now. Is the episode of In the Ops Seat. Again, we'll talk through Karen's journey of how she got into rec tech and what brings us to present day. We're recording this a few weeks after that interview, so actually the product has come on even more since I last spoke to Karen. If you're in the market for a CRM, if you're just wanting to know why Athena is a little bit different to anything else that you've seen or worked with, I will drop Karen's details in the description of this episode. She's always up for a chat, so hit her up.
Thank you, Si.
All good. Stay on if you don't mind. It's going to count us down. Thanks, everyone. See you guys soon.
Bye.